feet of pipe to put in the ground just yet.
Are these the 4-inch pipes that they're having the problem?
Mainly, yes. There are some 4-inch pipes that are very close to larger 8-inch pipes that still get good flow, but it's mainly 4-inch pipes. You know, back in the day, nobody in their right mind would have thought you needed 2-aught copper in your house, right? We had that hanging on our poles. There was no, you had one light in the living room. You had an actual box that had ice in it. You didn't have compressors and you know, things running in your house. So why would we ever need 4 inches, right? So.
Is that mainly in the older part of town?
Correct. Right.
I want to tell you I appreciate working with you with what we've done with the homeowner stuff, and I realize they even called you when you were in California doing your neighbor
Right.
stuff, but you answered the phone and we fixed it. We took care
Yes.
of it, so I feel like we're going to continue to work well with the stormwater type stuff.
Right, and you know, talking with Jeff, you know, that between Jeff and Keith, that project went over pretty good. I mean, we had a hiccup when we had that 8-inch water main bust, but I mean, I think it's going pretty smooth. Keith may think differently.
No, going good.
It's
real good.
It's going great. You know, it's a breath of fresh air to actually be able to work with the city committee or city department, and you know, as opposed to being attacked and you know, fingers pointed at us because we always seem to get it. Say again.
We all should work together.
Amen. Preach it.
How much corrosion?
Say again.
How much corrosion on the inside of a pipe over 50 years?
No idea. That's part of the reason why part of the reason why we do the annual flushing is to knock the sediment down, because there's a lot of clay in the water that we suck up out of the ground. We try to filter that out as best we can, but particles get into the
You're
water.
not going to get it off.
Right. And that's why we float. We try to get it, you know, correct. People complain, you know, we get complaints about dirty water, brown water, all that stuff. It's because the sediment's getting stirred up and pulled out, which is what's supposed to happen. So as far as saying, you know, after 20 years or after 10 years, I couldn't tell you. Because we looked at that 8-inch pipe where we were at, down on 7th Street, and it was almost none on it. So.
When are the meetings, the public board meetings?
2nd and 4th Tuesday at 11:30. And we'll even give you a free lunch. Any other questions? I mean, I look forward to working to get this problem fixed, so.
Thank you.
All right.
Mayor, I have one question with the city council. After his statement he just made, is the fire department now responsible for testing the hydrants in the city? We've never done that in the 23 years I've been here, but if we need to start that, then we need to seriously do some talking about more personnel and when to get started.
Do you have the equipment to do it?
We bought the equipment, yes.
How much time does it take, Jamie, to do that?
I'm sorry, say
How
again?
much time does it take to check the hydrants?
We had 4 or 5 guys doing it for months.
Around 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Doing that work. Feeding rain
And how often do they need to be done?
There's no real set schedule. I mean, minimum of 5 years, but there's different places that say different
Go
things.
different places.
Right. And with all this stuff that's been going on, like I said, we went back and then we tested we actually fire flowed. We had already done the flush, and we said, guys, go back. I know you just got done doing 150 of those, but go back and redo those 150 and get fire flows on. We have no problem doing it. You know, I think that was part of the problem last time. Sorry, I'm sitting down and talking like I'm sitting at home. I have no problem with us doing it. You know, there was some problems about, you know, some of the readings that we were getting, and I think that's when, you know, I think when Chief said that he was told to stop, it was, hey, these readings aren't right. These don't make good sense to us. So let's all go out and get together. So stop what you're doing and let's get out there and figure this thing out together. Just the finger pointing back and forth between the fire department and who's who, you know, who's on first kind of thing has got to stop. Because at the end of the day, the citizens just want it fixed. And if it's us, we'll do it, no problem. If it's the fire department, then they need to do it.
That's why the fire committee meet and discuss this topic and bring a recommendation and work with CGW.
And I have no idea, but I'm just guessing that part of the ordinance that you highlighted on there, that was probably written in 1929.
I would imagine so, yeah. Yeah, because there was 10 or 12 different revision dates there.
Yeah.
You know, the tribal knowledge, oh, hey, we've always done it that way, let's, you know, I've been doing it, and then I get sick and I fall off, well, now nobody's doing it. It's not getting done. And I think that's what happened before, you know, the 23 years is, you know, they were doing it, and then it, you know, the ISO thing came up, wait, where's that at? Well, I thought you were doing it. No, I thought you were doing it. And then there was a bunch of this going on.
Regardless who's gonna do it, it needs to be done.
Exactly.
So we need to work out a plan.
Who does it best and how it's best done.
Yes, what's, how we can get the best results.
I know prior to, you know, the quality of the drinking water takes precedence over the fire flows and those type of things. You know, that's in a bunch of guides. I know in the past where they sent out 6 or 8 people to flow fire hydrants all at one time, reduced our levels, messed up our pH and our chlorine in our water, and then I think, you know, at that point it was like, hey, stop doing that, don't do that. So the communication, if the fire department is gonna do it, that communication has to happen, that, hey, we're gonna flow 30 hydrants this week. All right, cool. You know, just let us know when you start so we can, if we're down at 24 feet, we can pump back up, or we can keep an eye on it.
Well, you know, we just need to look and see who does it best.
Right.
Who does it most economically, who does it most efficiently, and figure out a way between the city council and public works. We should do it.
Right. And, you know, strike that ordinance and
Yeah.
we'll go on and do it.
Right, that.
And then the next ISO rolls around, if there's a problem with hydrants, I'll take full responsibility. But at this point, I'm not taking responsibility for something that it was, hey, hey, you know, so.
Just to make one thing clear, and I think I am, but I'm sure you flush every hydrant every year, right?
Yes, part of sediment, drinking water.
Flush.
Yes.
And the ISO requires all hydrants to be tested once every hydrant.
Correct.
One hydrant is only tested every 5th year.
Right.
So all of them don't have to be tested every year.
Correct. And we were gonna go ward by ward, and right, there's 5 wards, and then knock that out, but with the issues we've been having, we wanted to get good data. We haven't had good data since the 90s, so we sent our guys out. And what that entails, you open up a hydrant up or downstream from the one you're actually testing, so that you're not getting, you know, best case scenario. You want it worst case scenario. So we actually have to have multiple people doing the same thing for the ISO testing. And again, I mean, if we'll take ownership if that's what it's going to take to get this thing fixed.
All right.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Anything else from public?
Mayor, council. Riley Cook. My question was answered really earlier when it was talked about the city ordinance for buildings and fires. I had 2, and I'm sorry I didn't make enough copies, so we'll have to share. But I had 2 bills from the city, one that is turned into collections already, and another that has not made it there yet, for fires that I have been billed for. You got one over? From the city. So the question that I had was, where's the ordinance that says that the city or the fire department is allowed to send these bills out in the first place? That question was answered by Mr. McVeigh, where there is no ordinance. So my next question is, what are we gonna do about these 2 bills? And then also, since there is no city ordinance, I have not paid my bills, but what about the other citizens that have paid their bills? I know one gentleman, he got not the paperwork that I gave you from fire recovery, but the one from Kane and Weiner. He had that is a, I guess, middleman collection agency. It's not on our credit bureau yet, but they are a collection agency. He got a letter from them. He didn't want his credit screwed up, so he went ahead and paid the $4,000 bill for the fire. With that, where did that $4,000 go? What is it allocated for? What was it used for? even though the city or the fire department has no authority to send that bill was paid. That would be no different than me saying, Mayor, you owe me $20,000. I've got no grounds to stand on, but if you pay it to me, I appreciate it. And unfortunately, the other people that are in the same situation I am, they're not here tonight, so I'm kind of speaking for everybody. You know, as a landlord, I have over 100 houses right now. A fire is going to happen. More for me than it is for the person that has one house or the person that has 5 houses. I know I'm kind of a middle landlord. There's landlords with 300 houses. We're going to get bills for these fires, but if there's no city ordinance, how or what is the precedence for billing us? And I know I'm throwing a lot out there without really allowing questions. I'm asking questions but not allowing the answers. I consider myself kind of young, and I know credit is important for everybody, regardless. But this is my full-time profession. I'm in real estate, and if this hits on my credit report, what is it going to do to my ability to buy new houses or more houses? Is it going to deny me altogether? Or if I go get a $1 million loan for 20 more houses, instead of a 7% credit or a 7% interest rate, are they going to charge me 11, 12, 15%, which in return cuts down